is a little bit of a lower tech presentation because we're actually at a family wedding today, and then I'm going to be at the National Lipid Association meeting all weekend. But I wanted to real quick talk briefly about what I'm going to present about next weekend, next Friday, because I'm excited about it and I think it's an area that we get a lot of questions about. So next weekend I'm going to be talking about how in the heck do carbohydrates actually become fats in your body. And then the second part of that is going to be, what about Asians who eat all this rice? How exactly does that work? So we'll discuss those next Friday, and I'm going to have lots of sources that I post, but that's a little bit difficult to do today since I'm away from town. So I'm going to address another topic that I get questions about frequently, which is menu ideas. So I don't have any specific menus posted. I actually usually refer to some websites that already exist, because there are multiple websites that do such a fabulous job with this online. And some of my favorites are Ditch the Carbs, Ruled, RULED.me, All Day I Dream About Food, and I Breathe, I'm Hungry. They have some fantastic recipe sources. A lot of the recipes we cook at home come from there, and a lot of menu ideas. So I highly suggest those sites. Of course, there are others as well. Those are just the ones that I use often. The next thing is about baking. I get a lot of questions about baking, and I bake all the time. And again, that is something that is so important to understand and appreciate about low carbohydrate living. And that is that baking is part of the lifestyle. So the difference is that we bake with non-grain-based flours. And there are many of those. Hazelnut, flax, almond flour, coconut flour. They're fantastic, and they cook things that are absolutely delicious. So in addition to those non-grain-based flours, there are other things that one should have in a good, well-stocked baking, low-carb lifestyle family pantry. And one of the big ones actually is psyllium husk. So psyllium husk is something that you see in the low-carb baking recipes often. And one of the things that can happen with people is when they see an ingredient that they're not familiar with, what's the first reaction we have to it? Well, I'm going to skip that recipe, right, because I don't know what that is. Well, psyllium husk is so common in many of the low-carb baking recipes, and if you skip those recipes, you'll be missing out on some delicious food. So the funny thing about psyllium husk is it's actually Metamucil. Yes, I'm not kidding. It's the same stuff. Of course, we use it in the generic non-flavored version for low-carb baking, but it brings the same texture that we're used to in baked goods to low-carb baked items. So get a big container of psyllium husk powder. You can find it at most grocery stores and even pharmacies, and that's the key. You actually look for it usually more in the pharmacy section because, again, it's used as a fiber supplement for constipation. So put it in your baking and enjoy. And make sure you make use of all those non-grain-based flours. Not only are they healthy for you, they make some unbelievably delicious foods. We'll catch you again next Friday, where we'll talk a lot more extensively all about fat in the diet being very different